scientific background, they'll appreciate the fact that when you can picture this, it's a whole lot easier to understand, and I can only thank you for the way you do break that down like that.
No, I try to be the translator, and that's really my mission, is to translate the arcane science into things that all of us can understand. The spiral I mentioned in there is important because we're seeing more manifestations of the Mandela effect. That means that there is more of this quantum pollution in our environment, and it's becoming denser. And we mentioned very briefly Project Bluebeam. Think of the spiral as gathering the quantum pollution as it comes in from literally thousands upon thousands of parallel dimensions, and it's being coalesced, it's being pulled together, it's being concentrated like you would be stirring something and concentrating it into a center point. Now that spiraling effect is also the same way that the Boltzmann machine takes data and concentrates it down into a center point through that spiraling process of the Boltzmann machine. The relevance of the spiral is that it is concentrating data into this sentient world simulation that is being built. And therefore, what you're doing is you're taking this virtual reality in a computer, and you are actually moving it out of the laboratory, as I wrote there, in the form of, and drum roll please, you are converting data into matter. This is the actual physical revised reality. This is the goal of the sentient world simulation, to be completely around the planet, enveloping the planet from the atmosphere right down to the ground level, and it recreating what we would consider to be the physical, tangible matter or substance of our reality. They are literally getting the density of the data so concentrated that it actually manifests itself as solid matter. And to back that up, there's an article that just came out today in which they're talking about, and actually it's a refreshing information from back in 2016 about holograms that are projecting holographic images that are so dense in their data that you can actually physically reach out and touch these holographic projections, and they feel just like solid matter. That is exactly what is going on completely around the planet with this influx of quantum pollution through D-Wave being concentrated using their own computer system, which is the Boltzmann machine, concentrating data to such an extent that it actually becomes matter, and you do not need a holographic projector to do that. And Project Bluebeam is now another Model T in comparison to what I just described. So Mandela effect has everything to do with the sentient world simulation and the converting of dense, granular data to matter. Go ahead, my friend.
I mean, it wasn't that long ago we were talking about Pokemon Go, and this was augmented reality to me, right? You would hold up your iPhone, the camera would show you what your camera would normally see, and then these little demonic beasties would be there, right? Are we approaching living in an augmented reality where we'll no longer need the smartphone for digitized characters to be jumping out at us?
Yeah, that's the full immersion. That is the they're promoting. This is the interconnecting of literally everything in this new digitized reality that will be manifesting in physical form. Absolutely correct.
And this is exactly the kind of reality, and I use that word loosely now, that they're pushing on us in sci-fi movies and Hollywood. The B-movies movies as well, because often now, Tony, I shared this with you before the show, but I'm sure some of the listeners out there will have spotted this as well. And it's like almost holographic advertisements. There's things going up and down buildings, and it's all part of this augmented reality. And of course, because of the sensors and the data, all of these advertisements are tailored to you. They know your search history, they know what you've been looking at on your phone, they call you into the shop, they know what you're going to buy. And then the next customer passes, and that augmented reality, that digitized advertisement, is tailored to them, Tony. It's a crazy world we're moving into.
It is, and just to touch back on Project Bluebeam, because we were talking about disclosure earlier relative to Antarctica. Project Bluebeam really was, it was the foundation. It was the preliminary prototype. What I'm talking about now is all based on hard science. We've seen the articles. They're not hiding anything from us. Kevin and I have seen all of this that I just described to you in different articles that have been put out in the public. So if anyone is thinking that this digital reality is not real, that it is not really coming about, just go look at the root of the sentient world simulation. Go to Purdue.